Hello!
Ahoy!
And a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. This is the Bottom of the Stream podcast, by the way. I didn't mention that at the beginning.
I'm Nick.
I'm Adam.
So good you said it twice.
Well, I said it at the same time as you, so I'll cut the first one out.
Oh, fine.
And it'll sound normal until we start talking like this a bit.
Yeah, then it will just really confuse people.
Yeah, exactly. How's things, Nick? How was your Christmas?
Yeah, it was good. There was lots of presents. There was lots of food.
Yeah, I'm still eating food. It's ridiculous.
Just took about a week to eat the turkey.
Oh, yeah, we had the biggest turkey for like 5 of us. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, we got like 4 meals out of it for 4 of us, I think. So
yeah,
that's quite.
I don't like cold
impressive.
turkey though.
Really, I really do.
No, I don't. I only like it hot. I don't like cold chicken either.
Oh no, I love like a chicken sandwich, bit of salt on it.
No, I don't like cold chicken. I don't like cold meat. It's weird.
What about a charcuterie board?
Oh, yeah, hams and things like that are all right.
So like your salamis and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. I like all that sort of stuff. It's just meat that's been cooked that's gone cold. It's weird. Chicken in a fridge is a bit strange.
Okay,
I don't know why.
Well,
I'm just a weird boy. Just a weird boy.
You said it.
What did you get? Did you get anything nice?
Yeah, I was very spoiled.
Good.
I got a new laptop.
Ooh. Finally, we can start hopefully recording properly.
Which I'm using now. So
does that mean I can teach you how to edit stuff?
See how it goes. Yeah, I absolutely give me the free rein, and I will.
If you're
edit all sorts of sound effects in.
If we're ever allowed back together, I'll give you a training session.
Okay, deal. Yeah. I had usual array of books and clothes and socks and all that sort of stuff.
Cool.
How about you?
Yeah, same socks, pants, books. I got a new VR headset. That's cool.
Oh, great! How's that going for the PS5?
It's good. Yeah. No, it's a standalone one. It's the Quest 2.
Oh, awesome!
It's really cool. So there's no cables, so it's awesome. So you can just run around the house with it on if you want to.
So what you been doing in that?
Randomly, I've been playing poker quite a lot.
Okay, of course you have.
There's a really cool virtual reality poker game where you sit with like 7 other people and just play poker. It's really cool.
Have you got good?
No. No. Luckily, it's not real money, so I'm all right.
I was going to say, are you bankrupt?
I would be if it was real money, but luckily it's not.
Do we need an intervention?
I think maybe if I do get good, maybe we'll go to the casino at some point.
Cool.
But it's really cool. You can it's just got a good community. You can sit and chat to people and just play some cards.
How wicked.
You can even virtual smoke if you want to.
Well, when you can't do any of that in real life, what better time to step into the virtual world, I guess.
The best thing about the virtual world is there's no COVID in there. It's great.
Yeah.
I got Ready Player 2, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Which is a sequel to Ready Player 1, obviously.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things, so I'm interested to see what you make of it.
I'm excited. I got a book on how to make pizza, which I'm quite excited about, because you know how much I love making pizzas.
I got a cookbook.
Did you?
Yeah. Guess whose cookbook it is? It's a movie. It's a movie star.
It's a movie star's cookbook, so he's not a famous chef.
He does own a chain of restaurants, but I didn't know that till I opened the book. So,
oh, right, okay.
Actually, I think
this is a good game. Let's make this into a game.
I think we mentioned him on our Christmas episode with Grief Burrito.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What sort of age are we talking?
I think he's mid to late 70s.
Oh, really? Wow, old. I'm trying to think back to what those films were in that amazing episode we put out on Christmas Day.
Yeah, dude, check it out if you've not already. Our Bottom of the Burrito Christmas special, which was ourselves and Harrison and Jordan from Grief Burrito talking about our top 5 least favourite films.
Yeah, you can say least favourite food then.
I was going to say movies, but I started it with an
movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whose is it? Give me another clue. Don't tell me. Give me another clue.
Okay. He is a famous hard man.
Bruce Willis?
No.
Oh. Bruce Willis's cookbook would be amazing.
This is better than that.
Man. I genuinely don't know.
We were talking about him in regards to the Spy Kids movies.
Robert Rodriguez?
No, older, but he's in every Robert Rodriguez movie.
Danny Trejo?
Yes.
No way. Danny Trejo's got a cookbook?
It's Trejo's Tacos.
Oh, amazing. I love Mexican food. I might have to borrow that from you. Is it good?
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Oh, amazing.
So I can't wait. Good. I can't wait to when we're allowed host a taco banquet.
I'm well up for a taco banquet. Let's definitely do that. That's how we celebrate the end of COVID. Let's do it.
So, yeah. I've got a few odd cookbooks now because I've got Snoop Dogg's cookbook.
I remember you got Snoop Dogg's. Cool. Is that good? Have you ever cooked anything out of it?
Yeah, a couple of smaller things, but he's got some good recipes. But yeah, I can't wait to get stuck into the tacos because you can make all your own sauces and salsas, and it's got all that sort of stuff in it as well. So
that sounds awesome. This pizza book I've got is the Pizza Pilgrims. So they travelled the world and learned how to make proper pizza, and then they've opened a restaurant in London. And so this is all like their special recipes and things. It's really interesting.
Cool.
I also got a cheese making kit.
Right.
So I'm going to make some cheese.
Got to grow it yourself?
Yeah, you have to grow it. Yeah, plant it in the ground, and then you get a mozzarella tree. I was going to do some today, and then I realised I haven't got a saucepan big enough. You need a saucepan that will hold 7 pints.
Oh, wow.
So I had to go and buy a new saucepan. So it would have been easier to just buy some cheese whilst I was there. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have a go. Definitely going to have a go. It sounds cool. You can make 30 different cheeses from it.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
Well of a time.
I am excited by that.
Lovely. That's a lot of food chat. I don't think we've ever talked about food for 5 minutes before.
No, I don't think we have. That's the new year, new start. This is now a food podcast.
Ball King season.
This is the first podcast of 2021.
I know.
And we started in 2019, so this is our third calendar year of podcasting.
Oh, we're into our second decade.
That's mental to think about.
On a technicality.
For nearly 2 years. This podcast's been going for nearly 2 years. Brilliant. Who'd have thought it when we started we'd still be going 2 years later?
Should we say what it is, for any new listeners that might hop on?
Yeah, go for it.
Sat through this.
Grief Burrito might have got us some new listeners. You never know.
So this is Bottom of the Stream, and every week we randomly select a movie on Netflix, and we're looking for sort of diamonds in the rough, aren't we?
Yeah, hidden gems.
We found a couple.
It's mostly rough, but there are some diamonds.
It is pretty rough. So, yeah, that's our concept, and we usually have a bit of fun.
Yeah, we do about half an hour anal chat at the beginning. Anal chat? That sounds wrong.
Okay.
And then we just do about an hour on the film, or half an hour on the film. It's fun times. Join us aboard the boat. You already have.
Yes.
Stay aboard the boat. Where do we normally start? Netflix news? Have you got any Netflix news?
Let's do some news. I've got a couple of snippets.
Go for it. I've only got one.
Okay. Me too, because I've moved 2 bits away from news.
Oh, okay.
And just into chat. So mine is that Cobra Kai Season 3, which was supposed to be going live on the 8th of January, has been moved forward a whole week.
Yeah, I heard that. That's interesting. I wonder why they've done that.
So, well, I guess, people, it's a longer week because New Year's Day falls on a Friday. You've got a weekend, haven't you?
True.
Straight after.
I can get it watched before I go back to work.
Exactly.
That's good times.
A lot of people will be binging that this weekend.
It's good New Year's Day fodder, isn't it? Just lie on the sofa and watch it all New Year's Day. That might be my New Year's Day plan.
So you go. Cobra Kai will be there waiting for you.
I've heard that one of the characters isn't coming back for season 3. Have you heard this?
I read that today. Yeah, the
Aisha.
Yeah, because she was quite not a major character, but she was in.
I would say she's one of the most major characters. She was the second member of the dojo, wasn't she? So.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have any major storylines, but she was in all the scenes all the way through, wasn't she?
Yeah, I wonder why they didn't renew a contract. Who knows?
But there might be some difficulties because obviously Netflix picked it up, didn't they, from YouTube Red?
Yeah,
it's
true.
Actually although it was only on Netflix a few months ago where most people picked up on it. This season 2 was actually 18 months ago it finished.
Yeah, I think this season's been filmed for quite a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good news for Cobra Kai. I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to be a big hit as well.
Me too.
And that might stick around in the charts for a while because it's such a good show. Talking of good shows, but not so much. And do you remember we talked about the Netflix after party a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, you sampled it, didn't you?
Yes, for about 10 minutes before I turned it off because it was absolute garbage. It's coming back. It's going to be turned into a weekly show.
Oh dear.
It's going to be on every week on Netflix. It's going to be like a chat show, rounding up some Netflix news. I don't know why they couldn't just hire us to do it. We do the best Netflix news. And we're funnier than David Spade.
Well, yeah, I think that this was always on the cards, though, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, I think that was just a tester, wasn't it?
I assumed it was going to be weekly when it started. So yeah.
I don't think it'll last long. I genuinely don't think it'll last long.
Did you say you watched 10 minutes of it?
About 10 minutes, yeah. The first two guests of the first episode, though, are going to be the two guys from Cobra Kai.
Okay.
The older ones, Danny. What's his name? I can't remember their names. Danny Russo. And the other guy.
Johnny Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence. They're the first two guests on the first episode. I think they're only half an hour this time.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's news, I guess.
Cool.
Somebody must have enjoyed it. Have you watched anything good at the top of the stream?
Yeah, I watched a couple of things this week. Watched just last night, actually. Watched Death to 2020.
Oh, I watched that last night as well.
Which was the sort of mockumentary from Charlie Brooker.
Yeah.
The Black Mirror crew.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It made me laugh a few times.
Yeah, it got a few chuckles out of me. I read today it's got pretty scathing reviews, but
really,
yeah, I don't know what people were expecting. I think the problem is because of all the Black Mirror hype, people are expecting it to be some sort of, I don't know, mind melding, world beating thing, and it was just a roundup of the year. Commentary on the year of 2020. I thought it was pretty funny.
The craziest thing about it was that the scripted bits were funny, but the real stuff was funnier in some places.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like some of the stuff Trump's come out with this year that you completely forget about.
Yeah, it wrote itself, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. It really did. I thought Lisa Kudrow was really good. She played that part really well, I thought.
Yeah, I really liked the American suburban housewife.
Yeah,
the Karen.
Yeah, she was good.
That was the lady from How I Met Your Mother, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She was the mother.
The mother in How I Met Your Mother. How You Met This Lady.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant was really good as well, actually. How he kept getting things confused with Game of Thrones. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, I thought Hugh Grant did well. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, so check that out. It is really fun. If you've not seen it yet, check out Death to 2020. It's new on Netflix. Anything else? That's literally all I've watched. So,
no, I've
spent all week
I've been on the costume drama train.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, so I've been watching Bridgerton.
What's that?
So I think it came out on Christmas Day.
Right.
So I think it's riding pretty high in the charts. It's from Shonda Rhimes, who is famous for she produced Grey's Anatomy and How to Get Away with Murder, and she's a bit of a sort of one woman factory for top line TV shows, and it's her take on a sort of period costume drama.
Oh right, okay.
So it's set in like 1800s in England.
Yeah, but
it's got a bit of a twist. So it's really diverse. So it's not all sort of stiff upper lip rich white people. It's got a diverse cast. They use like modern music, but they do sort of string versions of it. And it's just a steamy romp. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds it. Sounds fun.
I tell you what, there's some good looking people in it.
Oh really? Anybody I know?
I don't know actually. I think a lot of there is quite a few unknowns in it. There's a lot of the cast of Derry Girls.
Oh right, okay.
Oh, who was the guy who was in Death in Paradise? The first guy, the comedian. He's in it.
Oh, Chris Marshall?
No, before him, the very first one.
Oh, I don't know then. Ardlo Hanlon?
No.
Don't know then.
Yeah, the guy is like.
I've done well there. I've never watched Death in Paradise, and I've got two of the main guys from it.
He's a comedy. His comedy partner's Alexander Armstrong, and I can't remember his name. I can picture him. You can
Miller.
That's it. Ben Miller.
Ben Miller.
He's.
I'm very proud of myself. That.
Yeah, well done.
Cool.
But yeah, the guy who plays the Duke of Hastings is fit.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then I may check it out.
It's good. It's fun.
Yeah, worth watching. Think I'd like it?
I'm not saying it's not really up your street, but I think it's it's good fun. I don't know if you get on board with it. I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe I'll try. Anything else?
Watched an episode of something earlier today. A cookery show.
Oh, right.
Competition show.
Do like a cookery show.
Best leftovers ever.
What's that?
So basically, there's 3 people on each episode, and they get set challenges. So you've got to make a dish with this theme, or it's got to be a fancy dish, or it's got to be a sort of heartwarming dish, and all you get is these leftovers that are in the fridge.
Wow. That sounds fascinating.
I only watched one, but it was kind of fun.
I've not even heard of that. Is it American?
Yeah, very.
Oh, very. Cool, I'll check that out as well. You're filling my Netflix list for me. I like it.
That's fine.
Have we got anything else you want to talk about?
Just a couple of things for me. So just because it is the first episode of 2021, I've got a couple of lists which you might want to spend a bit of time talking about. And
Love a list.
So I've got the global list, both the top 10 movies and the top 10 most watched series of 2020 on Netflix.
Oh, that's interesting. Are they all Netflix originals or just everything?
No.
Oh,
no.
Cool.
So it's
really interesting.
It's everything.
Shall we start with TV shows?
Yeah, we'll go with TV shows first.
That's going to be really tough because there's been some big TV shows on Netflix this year.
Yeah. It's quite an interesting mix, actually. So, 10th most watched was Ratched.
10th, really? I would have thought that would be higher.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
Yeah, really good. Really good. 9th was Yo Say Betty La Femme.
Say that again.
Yo Soy Betty La Femme.
Never heard of it.
No, I presume that is a Spanish language series.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
No.
Number 8, Friends.
Friends, really?
Yep.
Wow, that's surprising.
Number 7, The Crown.
I would have thought that'd be higher as well.
Number 6, something I'd not heard of, Dark Desire.
Dark Desire sounds steamy.
Does sound steamy, doesn't it?
Yeah, no idea what it is.
Number 5, Money Heist.
Yeah, I'd have had that in the top 5.
Number 4, The Umbrella Academy.
Really? That's surprising.
Number 3 was Lucifer.
Okay, so there's two left, yeah?
Yes.
Let me see if I can guess them.
Okay.
One of them's got to be Tiger King.
No.
No? I wonder if that doesn't
not.
count. Does that not count?
No, it counts. It was on, so...
That's surprising.
Because I also saw a list of... I think it was in both the top UK and the top 10 US shows, but this is global,
worldwide.
remember.
Okay. So have I heard of both of these shows? You're not going to trick me.
Yes.
The Queen's Gambit's up there.
That is one of them, yeah.
Yeah. And... Oh, wow. What can the other one be? The Floor is Lava?
No.
I don't know. Go on.
So, number 2 was Emily in Paris.
Oh, of course.
And the most watched series globally was The Queen's Gambit.
That's mad. Do you know the guy who wrote that had it in his head for 30 years?
Really?
Been working on it for 30 years.
Wow.
He's written it 9 years ago and it's had 3 different rewrites since then.
Like the TV show?
Yeah. It's like a lifelong
that's
project.
Incredible.
It's amazing. I'm definitely going to watch. Still haven't got to it, but I'm definitely going to.
Awesome.
Just out of respect for that more than anything else.
Yeah, I might start it after finish Bridgerton.
Yeah, go for it. I need to do a Dexter rewatch. That's next on my list.
Oh yeah, you did mention we were going to do that. Yeah,
before the next season starts.
Excellent.
Movies?
Yeah. So, again, same rules apply. So it is global list. So it's quite different to the country-specific list.
Okay.
Right. So 10th place is Extraction.
Oh, right, yeah.
9th place was SpongeBob SquarePants, Sponge on the Run.
Wow. Is that the one with Keanu Reeves in?
I think it's the most recent one.
Yeah.
8th place was The Kissing Booth 2.
Wow, okay. Apparently that's a dreadful film.
Is it?
Apparently, that's what I've heard.
7th was Project Power.
Oh yeah, I've not seen that.
I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Number 6 was The Social Dilemma.
Really? That's surprising.
That was the documentary about Facebook and social media, wasn't it?
Yeah, I watched it. It wasn't that great.
Number 5 was The Old Guard.
That was all right. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I never got around to that. That was Charlize Theron, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's worth watching. It's good.
Number 4 was Holiday.
No, didn't get to that.
Top 3. Any guesses?
Oof. So it's hard with films, isn't it? Are they Netflix originals, any of them? 2
of them definitely are. All 3 might be.
Really?
I don't know much about one of them.
No, I don't know. Could be anything. There's thousands.
3rd place was The Christmas Chronicles 2.
Really? Wow, that's only been out a couple of weeks.
2nd place was Enola Holmes.
Oh, that was all right as well.
And the most watched movie globally on Netflix in 2020 was 365 Days.
Really?
Yeah.
That's that steamy sex film, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the mucky one, isn't it?
That was in the charts for a long time. I remember going through that loads.
I can't remember if it was a Netflix original or not.
Don't think it is, but I can't remember. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Not you, whoever knows.
Or cares, yes.
Or cares. Good point. That was really interesting. I like that sort of shit. I love a stat.
A stat.
I'm a stato at heart. Right, shall we move on and talk about this week's film?
Yes.
Okay, this week we watched a film called Swiped. It is from 2018. It is a 12. It runs for 1 hour and 33 minutes. Currently rated at 3.5 on IMDb. That's good. One of the lowest films we've ever done.
Yeah, that's a pretty low score.
It really is. Stars a guy called Kendall Ryan Sanders, who plays a character called James. I couldn't really find anything that he'd been in before, but not that you will have heard of anyway. He has been in a few things. Also stars Noah. How do you pronounce this guy's surname? Centineo. Noah Centineo. He plays a character called Lance. He's in every Netflix rom-com that's ever been made. And he has been on the show before. He is a Bottom of the Stream alum. This is his second appearance because he was in Sierra Burgess is a Loser.
He played the leading man in that. He's pretty much the leading man in this, isn't he?
And that came bottom of season 1 of Bottom of the Stream, the worst film we saw in that season, for a very good reason. There's also a bit of Hollywood royalty in this film. George Hamilton appears. He plays James's granddad Phil.
Yeah.
Most famous for Zorro, probably.
Yeah.
But he's been around Hollywood for a long time. He's basically a great big plastic leather man.
I don't mean to be horrible. Right.
Go on. Be horrible.
But he didn't look great in this movie.
His mouth's all weird. What's happened to his mouth?
Do you know, I know you're not really a Star Trek person.
I'm not.
But in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, there's this guy who is a shapeshifter. And he hasn't really got a face.
Right.
You can Google the character. Oh, what's his name? I think he's called Odo.
Odo?
Yeah. And that's what George Hamilton looked like in this movie.
Oh my God, he really does. He really, really does.
Well, I'm
He's
sure
got
we
no
can
lips.
I'll
stick
sure
a
we
picture
can
in
put
the
a picture of
Discord.
them side by side, and you can try and work out which one's which.
I'll do that. Yeah, his plastic surgery on his mouth's not gone well, has it?
I don't know. He's all gloopy, isn't he?
He looked like the Joker without his makeup on. He's got a really wide mouth. Really strange.
A lot of Botox.
The thing that surprised me most about this film, and we'll come to this, is the fact that it's written by a lady and directed by a lady. Written and directed by Ann Deborah Fishman.
Sure.
This is the only real thing she's done of note. She's done a previous film, but it wasn't famous. And she did a 13-minute short that is rated at 1.2 on IMDb.
Oh, yeah.
Which might be the lowest thing I've ever seen. So
you've got to work pretty hard to get that lower score in 13 minutes.
You really have. To get that lower score on IMDb at all is impressive. To get 3.5 is impressive. But we'll come to why it's at that, I guess. Do you have a one-word review of Swiped?
I've not really... I've thought of a few. I don't know. I'm trying not to give everything away.
Does it rhyme with swiped?
What rhymes with swiped?
Shite.
It doesn't rhyme.
Well, that's not far
I'll just go garbage.
off. Fair enough. Just put it all out there to start with. Why not?
Yeah.
This film
Why
is
not?
fucking garbage, but let's find out why. Where does this film start, Nick?
We get a credit sequence at the start.
Yeah. It's animated.
Yeah.
It's probably the best thing about this film.
It's pretty cheaply done.
It was really cheap, yeah.
It's just... Yeah, it's a load of
It's an
devices, isn't it?
it's an animation of loads of phones swiping through the cast members. As if they were like Tinder profiles, but
yeah,
cartoons.
But it's you make it sound like they're fully animated. It's just like they're
just
sort
pictures.
of silhouettes, isn't it?
Yeah. And then
It looks cheap.
It looks cheap. It is cheap. That would have been a good review of this film. Looks cheap, is cheap.
Yeah.
And we cut to a guy, and he's being driven to college by his mum and his sister. And they arrive. They get to college. They get him into his room, and his room's really small. And they make a point of this quite early on, that the room's tiny.
And that he's a nerd.
He is very much a nerd. Did you ever have a tiny room at uni?
It was pretty small, but I had it to myself.
Oh, did you? There wasn't
we don't tend to do this like sharing rooms thing.
I wouldn't know. I didn't go.
Yeah,
it must be awkward
no,
just
you
like
tend to get
moving in with somebody you've never met before, and then like being thrust into this tiny room to live with them for however many years. Must be really weird. Something I've got no frame of reference on.
We know that James is a nerd because his sister, who's accompanying him to drop him off, tells us and him, "You're a massive nerd."
Yeah, basically that's all she's there for all the way through the film.
Yeah.
Every time she's in the film, she just basically reinforces the fact that James is a nerd. So his mum and sister eventually they leave him there to settle in, and then we meet Lance. Lance arrives. Lance is going to be James's roommate. This is Noah Centineo's character. He arrives and pretty much leaves straight away. We don't really see much of him at the beginning.
Yeah, James sort of is trying to introduce himself and says, "God, do you want to go for coffee?" And Lance says, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And then he just walks out.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Shuts the door on him. My next. Go on.
I was just going to say he's like the typical jock, I guess.
I didn't realise how tall he was. I didn't notice how much taller he was than everybody else in this film.
He did tower over everyone.
He
Yeah,
really
true.
did. I was like, it makes him look older, a lot older. Because he's only like 20. I think he's 26 now, so he would have been like 24 when this was made.
Yeah.
And he just seemed a lot bigger than everybody else. He's definitely got movie star looks.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can see why he's had these roles, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to keep having them forever. He's going to be a movie heartthrob for a long time. Like I think you said it last week. He's going to be stuck in these Christmas films, Netflix films, romantic films for a long time.
Oh yeah, even if he doesn't make it big, there's definitely a place for him on these Netflix and Hallmark Christmas movies.
Netflix love him. Literally,
Yeah.
Netflix love him. He's casting loads of stuff on Netflix. My next note says a guy called John blows off a girl. This is Lance's mate. Was he called John?
Well, I've got Rob, so
Okay, fair enough. There was two of them, wasn't there? There was Lance and his two goons.
yeah.
Well, let's see if I can find out what they were called.
I think what was most remarkable about this character is that his hairstyle was straight out of the 1990s. Because
What did you have?
Rob,
And I had John.
yeah,
His teammates were called Daniel and Wesley.
brilliant.
There's so much fun we had watching this film, I guess. I'm pretty sure they weren't called that. But that's what IMDb says they're called.
I mean, I can go back and check, but I'm not sure why I'd have pulled Rob out of thin air.
I don't know why I would have pulled John out of it now. Anyway, this is... You're talking about his hairstyle?
It's straight out of the 90s. He's
Yeah.
got like these frosted blonde curtains. And it's like he was a time traveller.
It's like they were trying to make him look younger. because
Yeah.
he is older than the rest of them. But why?
But no one's had... By giving him that hairstyle, they made him look even older.
They made him look ridiculous. They made him look like he'd been pulled out of the 90s. He looked like he should have been in like Saved by the Bell or something.
Yeah. He could have fitted well in Dawson's Creek.
That's intentional as well, because he doesn't look like that in real life. That's not his real hair. So they've intentionally made that decision in this film to make him look like that. And he looks ridiculous.
Really weird. Yeah. And he's a douchebag.
They all are.
Yes.
Lance and his two goons are. Anyway, whoever this guy is, whether he's John, Rob, or Wesley, he's chatting up this girl, and eventually he gives up on her. And this is Hannah, who we quickly find out was a friend of James's from high school.
This was so oddly done.
It really was.
She walks off from the queue that they're in, presumably to get into the club or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm just going home. And then James sort of meets her around the corner.
Yeah.
And the dialogue literally goes, "Oh, you're Hannah, who I knew at high school."
It's pretty much exactly how he says it.
I didn't know you were coming to this college. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember you."
But it seems like they were like quite close in high school. They definitely knew each other. They were definitely friends.
She said, "Oh, you embarrassed me at the
prom
ball."
Yeah.
Yeah, you like declared your love for me or something.
Yeah, and he sang for her.
Yeah.
But she was humiliated by it. And it's like, surely if these people know each other, they know what colleges they're going to.
Well, you'd have thought so.
You would have known, surely.
Didn't hang together. And also, this was the first point where they were having this conversation. My wife and I looked at each other and we were like, there's no way that this is filmed in a university.
No.
They're clearly at a hotel complex.
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely a hotel.
Even like what was supposed to be the halls of residence is like, it's just a hotel corridor.
It is. It was just I think it was just like an abandoned hotel. It looked really old as well. All the doors were really old. That was weird. What I did write down is that she was reading Jane Austen. And he asks her why she was reading Jane Austen. And she says, I really love the strong, complex female characters. Which...
There's none of them in this.
Exactly my point. It was like they were taking the piss out of their own film before it's even started.
Also, this was the first time I noticed, and this happened a few times, that the sound wasn't quite right.
I've got that written down later on. Yeah, the sound's really weird.
Because at this point they were walking towards the camera, and it kind of dipped in and out a bit.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit later on where there's a group of them together, and the person who's got the most of the dialogue is fine, but then someone in the group has to chip in a couple of lines, and you can barely hear them.
Yeah, it's like it's all recorded on one mic.
Yeah, and they've not gone then and cleaned it up.
Yeah, not redubbed it. It was really strange.
It's really, in places, it's really amateur.
Yeah, I've written it down later on, so I'm glad you spotted that. Hannah eventually tells James, look, she's not interested, she wants to be left alone, so he heads on back to his room.
Yeah.
But he can't get in his room because Lance has locked him out because he's in there with a lady.
Yeah, it didn't even put a sock on the door.
Didn't put anything on the door. It just locked it and told James to piss off, basically. So James goes and sleeps in the laundry room. The next scene is weird because it has no resemblance for the rest of the film. This character doesn't appear again.
No.
So Lance is woken up in James's bed with a girl by his dad banging on the door.
Yeah, because he's bought all his stuff to move into college.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, he can't see me in here with a girl. You'll have to get out the window.
And he pushes her out the window.
Did you hear what he said as he pushed her out?
No, what did he say?
So it's the first floor window. So he's like, you'll have to jump. And she's like, I don't want to jump. So he pushes her out this window just as he's letting his dad in. And he shouts out the window, bimbo flying, someone catch her.
To miss that. That's bad.
That's really bad. Bimbo flying, somebody catch her.
That is not appropriate. I was more focused on the hilarious fall out the window, which was clearly her tripping over onto a crash mat.
Yeah, definitely was. So his dad comes in and they have a bit of like dad-lad banter. And then the scene cuts away and we never see his dad again.
No.
Ever. He's not mentioned, he's not heard from, he's not seen. It was just a really weird scene. Why couldn't that character have just been James trying to get in the room?
Yeah, it was completely
it was so bizarre. Lance, at that point, isn't covered in lipstick. I just want to point that out because in the next scene, Lance is covered in lipstick. So he turns up to his lecture class, what do you call them, study group, and he's covered in lipstick. And
yeah, I thought that's because he had a different girl just outside the door.
Oh, did he? Maybe I missed
I think
that bit.
so. Yeah.
He's being portrayed as a ladies' man anyway.
Oh, he's a total chick magnet.
He is. He's a good-looking guy.
He like can't walk from his bedroom to his class without getting
girls everywhere. Teacher tells him to scrub it off when he goes and sits down.
The teacher's played by Kristen Johnson from Third Rock from the Sun.
She was really good, actually.
She was probably the best thing in this movie. Yeah,
it's not difficult. It's really not difficult. This is the first class of the semester, obviously, and it turns out nobody's done the first assignment that she set because nobody's read the what do you call them? Not synopsis.
Enrollment.
No, there's a word.
She called it something else.
Syllable. Nobody's read it, so nobody's done the assignment except for James. But then James realises nobody's done it, so he wants to act cool, so he tells her that he hasn't done it either. So the teacher basically rips them all a new one and tells them that if you don't pass this class, you're not going to get to any other classes. This is like gateway class to the rest of the classes, which I didn't really understand.
No, it made no sense.
It didn't make any sense. James is later on studying in the library, and Lance comes up with his mates, his goons, whatever their names may be. And he's decided that he wants to pass the class, but he figures if nobody does the work, then she can't fail everybody.
Sure.
Which she definitely can.
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
would. So he's going to tell everybody else in the class which assignments to do and which ones not to do. Was that his argument? Is that what he was saying? That's how I understood it.
Yeah, but basically, so they do enough to get by, but
not enough.
If there was one they didn't fancy doing, if no one did it, then she couldn't mark them all down.
Which she definitely can. Of course she can.
Yeah, it's terrible logic.
It's ridiculous logic. As he's leaving James's side at that point, he bumps into a girl on the stairs that he once slept with. She recognised him, but he doesn't have a clue who she is. Again, it's just more character development of this guy's a slag, a man slag. Is that the word? That's the word I'm using it. Man slag. Himbo.
Yeah.
And so Lance and his two goons, Wesley and Daniel, apparently, they start discussing apps and app development and they decide they want to make the best hookup app. So not a dating app.
Yeah.
An app for hooking up with girls.
Yeah.
But they're not intelligent enough to do it. This is basically what they decide. They can't do it themselves. And then Lance suddenly has a brainwave because he's got a roommate who's a nerd. Can you see where this film's going now?
And if he's a nerd, he must know how to develop an app.
Turns out he does. So
yeah, he's done like 17.
29.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James has been coding since he was 7. It comes out at this point. So Lance invites him to come and sit with the group. He calls it his board meeting. Come and sit in my board meeting. And they basically outline this app that they want James to build for them. And it's basically a hookup app, but there's no names. It's against the terms of service to go on a second date, and you're definitely not allowed to start dating the person. It's 100% a hookup app. James says he'll think about it, and Lance basically tells him, if you do it, I'll pay for you to go to Harvard.
But
something along those lines.
Yeah, and there's like some really horrible terms and conditions, isn't there?
Yeah.
So like the women have to agree that if they break any of the, like, tell you name or try and do a second date, that they then are banned from it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
While they are, I think the phrase they use is they are retrained. I'm like, this is really inappropriate.
It really is. It's terrible. Anyway, James decides he'll think about it because this offer of the going to Harvard was a big thing for him.
Yeah, because basically his parents can't afford it, even though when we later see them, they seem to live in an absolute mansion.
I've written that down later on as well. It's ridiculous. Turns out George Hamilton is James's granddad. This is Phil.
Yes.
We meet him at this point. He's just got married again. He doesn't say how many times he's been married, but he does say that this isn't isn't his first rodeo. James then tells Lance that he's not going to do it, and that's when Lance makes him the offer of all the money, and that's when he then agrees to do it, because James says he got letters of acceptance from MIT, Harvard, Princeton, and Stanford, but he's ended up in this backwater uni where they are. I don't even know where they are. Where are they? I don't think it's ever said.
Named.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
So Lance entices him with money. He says, "Look, I'll pay for you to go to one of them if you do it." So James agrees to do it.
He says, I'll do it, but I'll keep my name out of it. I don't want any credit.
Yeah, he's got some terms and conditions. He wants the room pretty much to himself. This is going to be his coding space. He tells Lance that there are no girls allowed in the room, no partying allowed in the room, and he doesn't want to be involved in he doesn't want to be named in the credits, really. Doesn't want anything to do with it. And Lance is like, well, I'll take all the credit for it. I'm fine with that. So what James does is basically builds himself a little sanctuary in the room that they share, which is basically...
Post-it notes everywhere.
Yeah, he covers the wall in post-it notes and whiteboards. That's all he really does. Next day in the class, they tell the teacher that they can't do her quiz because they're building an app. And this app will make them pass her class because it will finish all the assignments that she's going to set for them. So basically, they'll do the app instead of the class. So this is what they've decided to do.
Yeah.
That's Lance and his two mates, obviously not James, because James doesn't want to be involved.
Yeah, well, I was going to say she kind of buys it, but she still wants... She's not going to just let them off scot-free. She wants, like, their business plan. She wants their architecture of the app and all that stuff.
Yeah, she basically wants a good
show me your
business proposal.
Yeah, you're not just slacking off.
And he tells her that NASA's going to fund it. I don't know where that comes from.
And that he signed an NDA so that they can't tell her anything about it.
Yeah. A bit later that day, James is coding and all of a sudden he does a cough, which means, oh no, he's now got sick. Which is bad timing. So Lance agrees to look after him. He basically says, make me some tea and some orange juice and I'll keep working.
This is another scene that has no relation to anything else because
so he's never sick again.
It's basically just so Lance goes and gets him a cup of tea.
Yeah. It happens twice and that's it. There's no. He's only ever sick when he's in that room.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Just after that is when the teacher agrees to allow them to do it as long as they submitted the app and she can see it. Tables turn at this point because Lance comes back to the room and James is in there coding, so he makes Lance sleep in the laundry room.
Yeah. And
then suddenly, out of nowhere, the app's ready for a beta test.
Yeah.
So they're like, he's like, I finished it.
It's got like full on graphics.
Yeah.
I don't know because they actually hired some women to like hold up the logo and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't know when they found time to do that.
It's taken like less than 48 hours, or it seems to have anyway. It's called Jungle, and it's basically the hookup app, the number one hookup app. But what they've realised now is that they need to convince people to switch from the other apps that are out there.
Yeah.
So they do a pitch to about 8 people.
They're just walking around the campus.
Yeah, there wasn't many people listening. There's a throwaway line during the pitch that says the app has no age restrictions, which I think is a bit wrong.
Yes.
I think they were saying, look, even old people can use it, but when they said no age restrictions, I was like, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
To register, the girls don't have to give their names; they just have to submit an underwear picture.
Yep.
And the boys are very much in charge of this app, so it's basically a shopping app for girls. The boys just click the one they want, and it appears.
And basically, Hannah is the only girl in this whole movie who has got any self-respect because she's the only one who sort of doubts.
Yeah. She's
the morality of this thing.
And she's the only reason that James agreed to do it in the end because he thought she'd go on it and he'd be able to hook up with her. Quite quickly after it's launched in its beta test, they find out that it's gone off campus because they're in some sort of strip club. And one of the goons overhears some men talking about it. And it's like,
everyone's on Jungle.
It's out there in the real world now.
Jungle is massive.
Yeah. The next scene's really weird. So I've written down Rachel's crying for some reason, and they're pretty sure now that they know that Lance didn't do the app, but whoever did do it is a horrible person.
Yeah.
Why was Rachel crying? Had she been stood up or something? I don't understand what was going on. The girls basically already rebelling against the app.
I couldn't get my head around this because of how badly edited the scene was and the sound. So they're at this like T-junction, aren't they, in the corridor?
Yeah.
And so like James is one side, Lance and his goons the other side, and then on the sort of stalk of the T-junction there's this group of girls. And it's like, again, it's like they've not done any of the sound editing because we're listening in on the girls' conversation. But then every time the camera cuts to either of the boys, the sound goes off.
Yeah. The girls sounded like
really
a voiceover. When films do like voices in somebody's head, it sounded like that. It wasn't coming from where it should be coming from. It was really strange.
But yeah, they were basically saying, this app is horrible.
Yeah.
It's objectifying. It's
Rachel's the sluttiest girl. We've already had this established to us. And she was crying, but we didn't really understand why. Something had happened.
No. And they were basically saying this app just sounds like Lance.
Yeah, but they know he's not intelligent enough to have built it.
Yeah.
So they now need to find out who's behind it. But then suddenly this film becomes a Christmas film.
I didn't get this whole section.
It was so
like
weird.
25 minutes.
Yeah, there's a big chunk of this film where Lance isn't even in it now.
They go on Christmas break. Yeah.
Lance isn't even in this now for like half an hour. James goes home for Christmas, and bizarrely, he lives with his grandparents, his sister, and his mother. But it's not his mother's parents; it's his mother's ex-husband's parents.
Yeah,
because that works.
So
she lives with
his mother is living with her in-laws,
her ex-in-laws.
Yes, because James's dad has run off with a woman.
Yeah, or a number of women,
but not. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Not the woman that he's currently with. When James gets there, he finds out that his sister's moved into his room, so he hasn't even got anywhere to live in this, I'm going to say, enormous mansion that they live in.
I mean, given the size of the house...
There must have been another room.
I'm thinking he wouldn't have struggled to find another room.
Because she tells him to go and sleep in the lounge or something on the sofa. I'm like, there's definitely another bedroom in that house.
Because again, he's a nerd, as she helpfully points out.
Yeah. Then it's Christmas and they're all like even his dad's coming around for Christmas, so this is more awkward now. Because his mum's
just before that, there's a quick scene of like the mums talking.
Oh, of course.
So his mum's out on like a boozy lunch with their mates. And I thought this was really... I didn't think this was very nice to women either, because they're all portrayed as like crazy ex-wives.
Yeah.
Spying on their husbands.
That's exactly what they were.
Yeah, it was just... Oh, it was tough.
It was a tough watch.
I just thought it really was not a positive feminist film, this at all.
No, it's like Sierra Burgess is a Loser isn't a feminist film, and again, that's written and directed by a woman, and I just don't understand it, how it happens. Anyway, the culmination of that scene is that his mum's on Jungle. Yeah. James's mum has joined Jungle. She wants some hookups. And then it's Christmas morning. And so they're all sitting around the tree. His dad shows up. So now the whole family's back together. But he's brought his new girlfriend with him. And it turns out they've met on Jungle. Now, I don't think that's allowed. I thought the whole idea of this app was that you just hook up with somebody.
Yeah, it was.
It's against the terms and conditions to be bringing your girl to Christmas with your family, surely.
Yeah, but you can still do it.
I know, but you're not allowed to do it. That's the whole point of the app. When this new floozy comes in, George Hamilton literally can't keep his eyes in his head. It's like they're on stalks. He looked like Roger Rabbit. He literally doesn't take his eyes off her the whole time. James is conspicuous by his absence, though. He's not there with the whole family around the Christmas tree. He's upstairs and he's doing some work on his PC.
Because he's a nerd. On Christmas Day.
So his granddad comes upstairs, says, look, I need you to come downstairs. The whole family's here now. Leave your computer up here. I don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, he's like, come on, it's Christmas Day, you nerd. Get downstairs.
Basically. This is then cemented even further because they're sitting around the Christmas dinner table and all the young people are on their phones.
Yeah.
And they're making beep, 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 beep noises. Like phones don't do, but they're all doing it.
Yeah. Like everyone's still got their clicking buttons on.
And George Hamilton starts making a speech and then he eventually gets fed up, so he collects all the phones up into a bag. And this is where I've written, I thought this family had no money. Because this is an opulent Christmas dinner. In an opulent mansion.
Like, the doors to the dining room are like double height.
Yeah.
It's palatial.
Why does Lance need to pay for him to go to Harvard? What's going on here?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Cut to after that, there's a really weird scene of his mum's drunk now. And...
yeah, bad drunk acting.
Yeah, she's obviously got to get this profile set up on Jungle, so she needs to take this picture. Which is supposed to be underwear, but she wasn't in underwear. She was in like a dressing gown.
Yeah.
And she can't do it because she's drunk. She can't take a selfie because she's old and she can't do it. So James's sister comes in and takes this picture for her. And then James's mum falls off the bed.
That was the funniest bit of this movie. When she tried to sit on the bed.
She tried to sit on the bed and just missed it.
Yeah.
It isn't long after this, pretty much straight after this, James learns that his mum's on Jungle. And obviously this is a bad sign. You don't want your mum on a hookup app.
No.
She heads out on a date. We follow her onto this date in inverted commas because they're not allowed to call them dates, are they? They were called something else. But she decides that this guy just obviously is only there for one thing. He's not even interested in who she is. And
right.
So she decides to leave. She doesn't want that sort of thing.
Yeah, because he's like, right, come on, we'll go back to mine.
Yeah.
You know, are you into this or not?
And she's like, no, I want to learn to get to know you. And it's like, well, then you're on the wrong fucking app.
Yeah,
this is a hookup
like,
app.
Look, I'm meeting someone else in 5 minutes. Yeah. If we're not going to hook up now, I'm going to my next appointment.
Yeah, and I've written in my notes, here's a hookup app. She just doesn't understand it. James is not happy about this, and so he starts coding again. He takes his room back from his sister because every time he gets annoyed, he stands up to people. Like he did it to Lance to get his room back, and now he's done it to his sister to get his room back.
Yeah.
And then...
It's very specific, though, because it's only when he needs his room.
Yeah, it's only when he needs rooms. He's like, I'm going to get angry when I need a room. And then a really weird scene happens. This is the scene where he questionnaires his grandparents and their friends.
Yeah.
So he goes downstairs to meet his grandparents and their probably 6 or 7 friends. Yeah. His grandmother, his granddad's wife, is a lot younger than him.
It's hard not to think there's some swinging action going on.
Some short shit's going down. And he wants to ask them about their relationships and their life when they were younger, what their younger life was like.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of random questions that you wouldn't want to know about your grandparents. Like, how many people have you slept with? How old were you when you first slept with people? That sort of shit.
Yeah, he basically does. Gives out a sex questionnaire to his grandparents and their friends.
Yeah.
And it was really weird.
It was really weird. And they were even really uncomfortable because they all started lying. Though none of them were telling the truth. And it was very strange. And even George Hamilton takes him aside at the end. He's like, is this appropriate? What's this all about? And I'm like, why is he doing this? The app's already out there. What's he trying to learn from old people? I really didn't understand that scene at all. Then he goes back to see his mum, and whilst he's in the room with his mum, she gets a new swipe on Jungle. And he freaks the fuck out. So much so that he goes in and types one line of code into his computer and takes the app down. Jungle goes offline.
Not only does he take Jungle down, he's such a genius and also a hacker that somehow he manages to take all the hookup apps.
Yeah, he takes them all, with one line of code, takes all of the hookup apps down. Even the ones that he's not built.
Yes. All gone.
Of course he can. Why not? Then we go back to Lance. We meet Lance again. But literally, that is about half an hour since we've seen him.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole sojourn to the Christmas break was. It was odd.
It was 100% filler. The whole scene, whole half an hour of that film was just to fill some time. So it's never mentioned again now. None of that is necessary. I don't think we even see his mum again.
No, I don't think we see any of the family.
I think we do. Lance is freaking out. He's in a bar and he's got girls all around him because they're all excited because they know he's the guy who's made this amazing app. And all of a sudden everybody turns on him because the app goes down while he's there. And so he's like, we're rebuilding it. We're going to make it bigger and better. Because he doesn't know what's going on. He tries to ring James a few times. James avoids his calls completely. James heads back to school at this point. And he's still avoiding Lance's calls.
Yeah.
And eventually they track him down. And they find him in his own room.
He finds Hannah first.
He does, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And the only reason I want to point it out is because he has a chat with Hannah. And again, there's a really weird line where she basically says, oh, I'm not interested. This is where she says, I'm not on the apps, I'm not interested in any of that. Yeah. And she says, I've always been uncomfortable in sort of small talk and making connections with people because I've got this really bad stutter. But she hasn't got a stutter in the film.
Never once does she stutter in the film. Never once. That actually comes a little bit after this. So they track him down in his room, and he jumps out of the window, the same window that Bimbo got through out of earlier. And there's a chase. They chase him around, and he bumps into Hannah, and Hannah says, "Oh yeah, I'll help you. I'll save you from Lance." And that's when they have the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, but it's never come up before.
No, or since. And he's Nona. He knows this girl. Remember, they went to high school together. So, and she doesn't stutter once in this film at any point. So she takes him off to where all the girls live.
Yeah, he gets into the sorority house.
He does. And they decide they want him to make an app for them, like a girls' jungle.
Sure. Girl jungle.
Lance has a go at rebuilding the app himself, but obviously he doesn't know what's going on. He's just basically shuffling some post-it notes.
He can't even work out which way up he needs to turn the post-it
No,
notes.
he can't. So he talks to all these girls. He basically sits them down and does a little bit of a presentation to them. And he says, "I've already got an app, and I want to give it to you." And this is mind-blowing, this bit, because I have no idea what's going on. It comes out in the conversation that none of the girls have ever been on a date. Not a single one of them.
No.
And then
they've all been treated like garbage.
All of them, for their entire lives. So he goes up to his room he's got this room, or he goes back to his own room, and Lance is there, and they have a bit of a chat. Lance tells him that he's been getting death threats, and they force him to work on the app. They basically keep him prisoner there. He says, "Okay, I'll work on."
Why does he go back?
I don't know. I really don't know. He says, "Okay, I'll work on the app, but I need you to go make me some tea." So Lance goes and makes some tea, and the other two guys were like, "Oh, we might as well have a tea as well." So he makes tea for all of them.
Because it's this herbal tea that his mum had gave him, and she was like, "Oh, it will help you relax." And I'm thinking, is she giving him like some sort of like herbal tea, if you know what I mean? Yeah. Is that what she's telling him? I was like, no, he's a nerd. He wouldn't understand that. But I think that's what it was, because it knocked all these guys out.
Definitely. They focused on his cup, and his cup was still full. So he hadn't drank it, and the other guys had all drank it, and they were all asleep. So Lance and the two goons were asleep in the room. So So
his mum's also his drugs dealer.
Yeah. So James just leaves. So why he went back there in the first place is beyond me, unless it was just to get his computer.
Yeah. Well, I don't get because he just goes back to the sorority.
He does, yeah. He goes back.
Like, stay here. Which
he must have just wanted to get his laptop.
I thought that's where we were 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't understand. It was very bizarre. So yeah, they let him stay in wherever the girls live. He tells the girls the girls that are not Hannah. He tells them that he likes Hannah. And then the boys spot him. He's sitting, because he's in hiding. What he's doing is sitting right at the window at the front of the house
with it open.
Yeah. So they spot him and they start banging on the door
curtains.
as if their like lives depend on it. If they're being chased by zombies, and the girls answer, and they've all got weapons.
Yeah.
Because why not? And they basically scare the boys off. The boys at this point think that James wants all of the girls to himself, and he's managed to like infiltrate. Because they're really stupid, these guys. They're not like, how they've even got to college is mind-boggling.
No, everyone in this movie is portrayed as stupid, except James and Hannah.
Yes,
regardless of if it's the lads or the ladies.
That's very true.
That they are imbeciles.
They really are. The teacher rips Lance a new one in this class the next day because Jungle's down, and that's the app that's getting him through that class. So he tells the Jungle 2.0 is coming, and he'll have it ready. So, and she says she wants a full-page outline of his workflow by the end of the day, which obviously he can't do because he isn't the one building the app. He has no clue what's going on.
Sure.
So he sits with the two guys and he tells them, "I'm going to call a press conference to tell the world who really created Jungle." Right, as if anybody gives a shit. And he makes one phone call, and then the scene cuts away, and James is now with the girls again. And he's going to create an app called Eve, because it's about girls, obviously, and it's going to have themes of honesty. It's all going to be about honesty.
Like no one's ever created an app for women before. This is the first one.
Yeah, but then he says, "You are the app."
Yeah,
he literally uses those words. You are the app. God created you the perfect app. It is yourself.
Yeah, it says you don't need any. You don't need any of these apps. Just don't go on them.
So he says the boys have all the power on these apps. So if you leave all the apps, there's be no girls on there for the boys to get.
But they can't work this out themselves. It has to be mansplained.
Yeah, completely. And there's only like 6 girls in this room, so there's going to be plenty more girls. There's not only 6 girls on Jungle, so I don't know what's going on. I've written at this point, never want to watch another film ever again.
You're done.
It's then on the news that James is the one that created the app.
Yeah.
Not just
by name.
His dad hears it on the radio in the car, and his granddad and his granddad's wife hear it on the TV, on the news, that James, whatever his surname is, was the real brains behind Jungle.
It's on the news because Lance had rang his dad's publicist.
I was like, I've underlined on the news. Like, this is news. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. The teacher finds out, obviously. The boys bump into Hannah. So Lance and the 2 goons bump into Hannah. And they tell Hannah, because she doesn't watch the news for some reason.
No.
That
she
just reads Jane Austen. That James was behind Jungle. He admits it, basically, in front of all the girls. He tells Hannah, I made it because I'd hoped you'd go on it. But then I took it down because my mum went on it. I'm like, what the fuck?
He says, the girl I liked never joined, and the girl I like is you.
Basically, yeah. And then he tells her he loves her. And then they have a kiss in front of all the other girls. Cut back to Lance and his 2 goons. The teacher walks past, says, I'll get used to seeing my face. You're going to be repeating my class. Because obviously it's failed the class. It comes out now that Lance wants to date Rachel. He asks one of his mates was really interested in her, and he says, look, can you back off? I want to go over. And his mate's like, yeah, I'll do anything for you, mate. And then he asks Rachel on a date. And then he carries her books for her.
And his character's just a
complete 180 for no reason.
Because the last scene he was in, he was selling his so-called mate down the river, saying, oh, he actually made this up.
Yeah.
He's just as bad as me. And now he's like, oh, I'm going to treat women properly and
carry their books for them.
And there's no development or connectivity in between.
And then the film ends.
It's just really abrupt.
Really abrupt end. Just ended. Just ends there with him carrying Rachel's books for her.
Yeah.
It's fucking mental. What did you think?
I mean, it was definitely missing a scene where he was learning from his mistake.
It really was. It was like nothing happened at the end to make Lance do that. Why did he? No. Where did his love for Rachel suddenly come from? Why did his mate back down on it? And
that's not a thing.
No, it's never been a thing. She's barely even in it. She's in like 2 scenes. He never mentions her once. It's so bizarre. It's fucking shit. It's a terrible film. There's nothing good about this film at all.
I'm searching. I'm not finding much. I mean, I can't get over how in parts it just doesn't feel finished.
No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. It isn't.
You know, there's like people talking when they're only half on the screen. The sound issues. Yeah, it's not good.
It's really bad. It is really bad. It's one of the worst films we've seen on this show. It's right up there.
I think the only time I chuckled was when the mum tried to sit on the bed and fell off.
Yeah, it's terrible. Everything about it is just bad. There's not even any...
Yeah, George Hamilton's face looks like it's about to melt into a puddle on the floor at any point.
His face looks like a puddle. Noah Centineo looks a lot older than everybody else in it, although they all look old. It's that American thing where they cast mid-20s people as teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, Rob or Wesley or whatever his name was, the guy with the
or
curtains,
John, yeah.
He looks about 45.
He really does. I mean, he's not. He's like 26, but just having those curtains made him look old.
Yeah.
It's just that thing of... I mean, these are kids, first year college, first year out of high school. What age are they going to be, like 17, 18?
So if they're starting college, it's university equivalent, isn't it? So 18, 19.
That's ridiculous. Why can't Hollywood just cast 18, 19-year-olds? There's got to be actors out there who are that age. Actors don't stop at 10 and then suddenly become 26. Teenage actors don't exist. It's bizarre. Or just don't set it in a high school. It could have easily been set in a .com startup somewhere. Why did it have to be set at a college?
Yeah, I mean, this is just like, it's The Social Network.
For drongos.
Like, for morons.
It really is. It's terrible. It's so terrible. Shall we talk Stream Table?
I mean, I think it's a pretty easy one.
I think it's a very easy one. Shall I run through it, or is there any point?
You can run through it if you want, but I know where this is going.
Okay. Malevolent's currently at the bottom. Then Life Force, followed by iBoy, Results, Hungerford, Shimmer Lake, Would You Rather, The Discovery's in 5th, Pottersville in 4th, Catfight is in 3, Lost Bullet is in number 2, and Caliber is still at number 1. Where's this one going, Nick?
This one for me sits just under Malevolent.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. This is a much worse film than Malevolent. It's not even. This one's not. If there was a spot below bottom, I'd put this film in it.
It dragged as well, didn't it?
It really did. I didn't put it on till like 9:30, and I'm like, Jesus. I think I texted you. I was like, there's still half an hour left because we were watching it pretty much the same time last night, weren't we?
Yeah, I think I think that was about the point when he was doing the sex questionnaire with his grandparents.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. It's got to go bottom. It's 100% got to go to the bottom of the table. There's not even an argument there. 100%. It's the worst film we've seen in a very long time.
I mean, I would say my only positive.
Oh, have you got a positive?
Well, I thought that the girl who played Hannah was pretty good.
Yeah.
Compared to everyone else. She
was all right.
But I think that's about it.
She's barely in it though. She's only in like 4 scenes.
Yeah. But I thought she did pretty well with what she had.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, in Sierra Burgess, I thought Noah Centineo was good.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he didn't like that movie, but I thought his chemistry that he had with Shannon Purser in Sierra Burgess was actually good. And I liked their interaction. But I didn't think any of that was on display here from him.
No, not at all. He completely dialed this one in.
Yeah.
He was just doing it for the sake of doing it. I imagine it took him like 3 days.
And his character was a total douchebag. And then there was the tapped on bit at the end where he was, you know, trying to have that sort of rebuilding of the character, and he'd learnt his lesson. But it did just feel tacked on. There was no. They didn't
completely unnecessary.
They didn't play the arc at all, did they? It was just a scene.
Why does that guy get to have a happy ending?
Yeah.
Literally, the last scene of him should have been when his teacher told him he was repeating the year.
Yeah.
And he should have had like a meltdown or a tantrum or something, and that should have been the end of his character.
Yeah.
So finish off the bad guy the way it should be, because he's a bad guy in this film.
Sure.
Finish him off the way he should. Don't give him a happy ending. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a bit odd.
I realise I just used the terms finish him off and happy ending. But yeah, it was ridiculous. Stupid. How are you turning the tide on it?
Can't it just be nicer?
Can it just be good?
No, well, just
make this a good film.
Why is it so insulting to women?
It's terrible to women.
Again, and also men.
It's exactly. Well, yeah.
Why is everyone in it a moron?
I don't know. I think the first thing I'd do to try and change it is I would take it out of the university setting.
Okay.
So I'm going to call you back to a film from a while back now. Do you remember Office Uprising?
I do, yeah.
And it was set in like a male-dominated office environment.
Sure.
Set it there.
It was like advertising or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do it there in like a small .com startup business who were developing apps, and start it there and then make it nicer. Don't be university students. They're adults anyway. Just be adults. Don't make them teenage boys. It's stupid. That's what I'd do. Change the setting.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. You don't just, because otherwise you just make The Social Network.
That's what I want to do. Let's make The Social Network. It's pretty much beyond repair. You've got to change to make this film good. You've got to change a lot of stuff about it
Better script.
to the point where it's pretty much unrecognisable. Yeah, it's got to have a better script. It's got to be better made, directed better,
Do some
better
jokes.
casted. Put some proper jokes in there. Make it less degrading to women. You basically change the whole thing just to make it good. I don't see the point. Just watch The Social Network.
For me, it was the bit where the character of James is literally standing on the stairs addressing the group of women and
mansplaining to them.
Yeah. The fact that had to be done rather than
God created the best app.
Yeah.
It's you. That was literally the line. Fucking wow. Let's forget this one ever happened, shall we?
There was no empowerment here, was there? For anyone?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
No.
Shall we pick next week's film?
Yes, please.
What are you hoping to get from next week?
We've not had a comedy for a while, have we?
Well, technically, we've just had one. But you're right. We've not.
Let's have a laugh.
Let's have a proper laugh this time, shall we?
Let's see. See if the randomizer will be kind.
Right, okay. I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
I am.
It has picked a film called VFW.
Okay.
Any ideas?
No, none whatsoever.
Do you want to have a guess? What do you think it stands for?
VFW. I've got something to do with cameras. Viewfinder. I don't know. I don't know any photography terms.
It's nothing to do with photography. You're all right.
It's like some sort of peeping Tom horror film.
It is a horror film.
Okay.
Well, it's not. It's described on IMDb as an action crime horror film.
Okay, that's covering a few bases.
The synopsis says, a group of old war veterans put their lives on the line to defend a young woman taking shelter in their local VFW post, who's running from a deranged drug dealer and his relentless army of drug-addled punks.
I'm in. Sounds great.
It does, doesn't it? It stars Stephen Lang, who you will know. He's an Avatar.
I know he is, yeah.
One of your favourite films.
Yeah, check out our Christmas Day episode.
To hear Nick's thoughts on Avatar. William Sadler's also in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Fred Williamson. And George Went's in it.
Oh, okay.
That's quite a good cast.
I'm excited for this.
It's rated at 6.1 on IMDb. It says taking shelter in their local VFW post. Have you any idea what a VFW post is?
Veterans. Is this something to do with Army veterans?
Yes, it's Veterans of Foreign Wars.
There you go.
Oh. It's an 18. Sounds like it's going to be alright, this one.
Ace.
The poster's awesome. I'll send you the poster in a minute. Yeah, so check out VFW. That's a Victor Foxtrot Whiskey. And in the meantime, check us out on Twitter and Instagram. Our Twitter and Instagram is the same. It is at BOTS_podcast. Facebook.com/bottomofthestream. Check out the new website. It's www.bottomofthestream.com. You can stream every episode straight into your browser from that website. It's also got all the stream tables and a lot more information about the show. If you're new, you can learn about us there. Check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/bottomofthestream is where you'll find us on there. That's got all the good stuff for a couple of quid every month. You can get some bonus episodes, early access to episodes, a wild card if you come in at a certain level, so you can pick the film from not use the randomizer for a week. And also check us out on Discord. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes at the very, very bottom.
If you can't do any of that, then please take a few minutes to leave us a review on Podbean, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you can leave us a review. Usually I'd get creative and come up with something related to the movie we've watched of how you can leave a review, but just use one of their apps. This movie's broken me.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, so check us out on all the socials and then go and watch VFW and come back next week where we'll talk to you about it.
Sure will. Cheers.
Bye.